Let's give it 10 seconds to warm up the recording.
10,
5, 4,
9,
3.
8,
Blow on it
7,
to warm it up.
6, 5, 4,
Wonderful.
3, 0. I
All right.
skipped a bunch.
All right.
Potato.
Robin, you are up for summary duty, so go ahead. Hit us up.
Last time on Rise of the Runelords, we were all in a scary fucking basement under a haunted house, and we all wanted to cry a lot, basically. So we started off with running into a bunch of ghouls in a hallway, and they sort of got the jump on Red. They actually included a ghast in their ranks, more specifically, which is a more powerful version of a ghoul that has like a stench aura, and is also capable of paralyzing elves, apparently, which ghouls are not. So there was a little bit of a skirmish going on there. Robin came in, took the last hit on the ghast, and then key flurried to get the last hit on the nearby ghoul, which was primed and ready to coup de grace Red, assuming that the statue that was lodged in its brain actually allowed it the intelligence to do so. We will never know. It's fine. And then we continued into this large open cave underneath the well on the grounds of the Foxglove Manor. And the room had this big winding ramp covered in algae. And in the center of it, say like 40 feet down, there was this huge whirlpool just absolutely raging. Off to the side, there's this reinforced metal door that basically everybody but Robin notices, because Robin's scouting in the back. And Dorbin's like, okay, I'm going to go check it out. And he totally ignores the fact, or doesn't even notice the fact, that there's a bunch of algae on this ramp. He takes one step on it, falls flat on his ass, slips, slides, manages to catch himself on the way down so he doesn't fall into oblivion. But that noise alerts somebody on the other side of this door.
Actually, sorry, I'm gonna interrupt because it's a very big difference.
What?
It was Sigurd using a spell to open the door that caused a bunch of noise.
Oh, yeah. That's true. The open close. I just wasn't sure because I thought that if something was closed, the open close actually did nothing. Yeah, so somebody on the other side of the door says, oh, do I have guests? Unlocks the door, comes on out, and we see Aldern Foxglove chilling somewhere he really shouldn't be. And everybody has many questions. He's, rather composed, all things considered. And, he's slowly approaching the party. Red's slowly approaching him to, talk to him, see what's going on. Now Foxglove has his weapon peace bonded, and Red, in turn does the same. And there's some talking going on, and Robin hears some shit go down, and he's like, "Oh, there are people talking. What's going on?" So Robin catches up to the back of the party, sort of hears where the conversation is going, realizes that it's Aldern, and he's like, "Okay, something's fishy." So he stealths with a nat 20, goes invisible, slowly works his way, creeping, crawling along the walls, Spider-Manning his way over to get behind Aldern. All the while, at this point, Aldern is saying, "Hey, you don't happen to have Silera with you, do you?" He's thirsty, obviously, and Silera's hiding in the back behind a wall because she doesn't want anything to do with him. And Red makes up some lie about, oh, she's contracted ghoul fever, so she's not here, something like that. And they go to exchange a handshake. Red does so, and I think Silera fails a stealth check. I think that's what happens here.
Yeah. So she peeks around poorly. The corner.
Yeah, she peeks around the corner to see what's going on, and she doesn't roll particularly well. And as a result, Aldern does notice her, And this is where shit goes awry, because in response to seeing Silera, something clicks in Aldern, and he almost gets another persona that takes over him. Like he's got bipolar something going on. He's got like this stalkery, serial killer vibe going on, and then suddenly his visage changes to this like uh ghoulish, like horrific undead creature. And all the while Red standing right in front of him, holding his hand as he's changing. And as part of this, Aldern very much surprises Red, catching him in the spine with a claw attack that paralyzes Red. And then shortly after, combat ensues. Robin's behind the guy. Aldern actually coup de grace Red, straight up removing his trachea and throwing him to the side. When Aldern goes to, well, this provokes an attack of opportunity. When Aldern goes to move, Robin tries to grapple him, all that stuff. Combat ensues. It gets crazy. He gets greased by Silera. He slips down the ramp, falls into the whirlpool. Red has fallen into the whirlpool as the result of the grease as well. Dorbin's fallen in a pit because he's also been paralyzed. Things aren't going very well. At the very least, Aldern has been thrown into a giant whirlpool of death. However, Robin has made it his mission, because he's on the road to becoming a paladin, to leave no man behind and to retrieve Red's body and kill this undead nightmare. Two birds, one stone, jumping into this whirlpool. So, with hindsight 2020 and a little bit of character development going on, he doesn't fucking balls deep this alone. He actually backs off a bit, and asking for help from his allies, he gets like 110 feet of rope, I think, that allows him to, be safely tethered, go down, figure out what's going on. All the while, Aldern's been carried by this current, had his head crushed against a rock, which is nice because he doesn't have to continue fighting him underwater. Robin goes down, sees all of these jagged obsidian rocks underneath this whirlpool. I think like 60 feet down, and then the total tunnel's like 180 feet or something.
No, it was 120 feet beneath the water.
120 feet beneath the water, yeah. And Robin manages just to be able to reach Aldern, frisk him of all of his belongings. We were made very aware that he's carrying many magical items. One of great import was the Stalker Mask, which may or may not, and by may or may not I mean has been cursed, but Dorbin managed to remove said curse. So we are now carrying all of Aldern's belongings, and Robin came back with Red's corpse as well. Now we're just sort of chilling outside of this big metal door that has a radiating necromancy aura coming out of it, with one dead companion, and we're not in the happiest of moods.
That is a very, very well put summary. Go ahead and take your D4 for the night. Well,
yep.
For the day, because for I think this is the second time, but awkwardly enough, we're playing at a very different time zone today. Yeah, I'm gonna move everyone to the map where we left off last time. And as we pick right back up, as a lot of you have managed to pull Robin out of the water, and he's carrying Red's body over his shoulder, and then a sack. Well, actually, he put most of the items into his little bag, but he's got a rather wet bag of holding behind him.
Yeah, he would have to carry them in
In
like a
Satch.
sack or
Yeah.
a cloak or something, because otherwise it would fill with water.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So you have a sack filled with a plethora of items and clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah, which you proceed to plop down as your companions assess the situation. So yeah, this is the current uh, place and time, my friends. It's all up to you what you do next.
How are you feeling, Robin?
I think more to the point, how are you feeling? That stalker is now super dead, and I can confirm with my own two eyes that if that was the problem that's been coming after you, it's super, super dead.
Um, I don't know how I feel.
Well, we can give you some time to digest that. I'm I'm fine. Aside from, well, physically I'm fine. I
Okay.
it's weird. It's bittersweet. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I figure we can think about it later. We got to figure out how to stop all these ghouls.
Right. And Robbins
Yeah.
snaps back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity, and he's gonna just head in here.
Um, what is in there? Or I thought we were going.
I think the door is what we want. But
Right.
in the meantime,
So-
Celera,
What
if you
is-
could clean the floor to the door, I'd really appreciate it.
Just a brief reminder, Robin, you currently don't have a source of light. Oh, actually, no. You should have
Yeah.
your forehead lit up.
Yep.
Yes,
let me
my
let
forehead
me
is lit up.
refresh that for you.
Forehead's still
Um,
lit.
Is there anything
There's also
in this
an
alcove?
ironstone on red.
Oh, there is. So
Okay then.
yeah. So as sorry, I forgot to mute my phone. So as you go into the sight room, you spot what must have been the feeding grounds for these ghouls. As you see on one side a pile of severed body parts, and on the other side of this cavernous area, a positively humongous mound of bones, picked clean of all flesh.
I'm really glad I have a nose peg.
Yep.
Okay, there might be something in here. So Robin's just gonna take a look through this room. Yeah.
All right. Give me just one very quick second. I want to double check. Um, what exactly are you trying to check? Are you like checking the piles to see if there's any kind of loot?
He's
to
not
be had?
looting per se. He's looking for, maybe there's some sort of, I mean, the bones aside, because you can't tell. Maybe there's some way to identify people that are missing. Maybe
So
there's.
yeah,
Yeah.
so here there's a mixture of arms, legs, torsos, heads, but everything's been chopped off and like it hasn't been
Like that cart that the
yeah,
zombie driver
this
had.
this
Yeah.
looks exactly like the way that the cart was filled with body parts.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so completely unidentifiable, basically.
I mean, from now and every now and then you do find a head that has been partially mutilated, but it could be identified if you brought it to the right person. However,
I don't think they'd want to see that.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Robin's gonna turn his any tool into like a wide shovel, and he's basically gonna be like, I'm gonna start dumping this into the whirlpool.
What is-
Objections?
Like, why don't we wait until we've checked out the other room?
I mean, you
Because-
can go do that. I don't magic.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't imagine.
yeah. We could also light these on fire because the smoke would go up the well. So I don't know what to do. And he pulls out his waterlogged Tenets of Iomedae, and he's like, I'd reference this document, but it's a little wet.
Dorban, can you not, if I move out of the way, can you not get to where I am? It's all clean.
Yeah, but I'm saying that we should clean it all the way.
Mm-hmm.
It has been.
But
You already
can-
did.
But
She did,
Well,
she
yeah,
did while Robin
this
was
whole
down.
path was clean, but
Oh,
this can't
yeah.
be clean because of the water
Gotcha.
still coming through. So
All right.
So,
I will take my time to climb down this because I'm bad at climbing.
Fair.
You sort of climb down by first dropping to the floor prone, grab onto the ledge, and then slide your way down,
Yeah.
having to drop the final 2 feet as your feet don't quite reach the floor.
All right.
Yeah, sure enough, with the
Robin,
slime
won't you-
removed. So, Sigus, as you step around up the slope and into where the door is, you spot the fact that very very obviously what on your side had once been covered by algae and this sort of slimy brine residue is turning as it sort of goes into this side room. It turns into this bluish fungus, and it looks like little hair filaments growing on the floor. And as it transitions deeper into the room, you see it turn a darker blue and then into a dark green, and you can almost spot around the corner, like at the very edge of your vision and your light, it sort of turns pitch black.
All right. At the black part, like I'm gonna look. Does it look like it's? I'm gonna cast detect magic. Well, I still have it going.
Yeah, so
Oh,
like
I guess it doesn't.
you as you stand in front of the door, you do spot the fact that there's a miasma of magic emanating from there, and it sort of looks like a cloud, sort of slowly wisping out of the room and trailing out.
Mm-hmm.
And as you look into the room, you do spot that it sort of gets thicker and thicker the deeper you go into the room. And sure enough, like you don't need to roll for this. It detects as a very strong, overly saturated necromantic magic.
Got it. Well, I wish I had something to kind of burn, but I'm gonna just cast disrupt undead on the black part of the moss, just in case it's like somehow like undead moss.
Yeah, give me a will save.
Oh,
Nice.
fun.
At least you're good at those.
Curveball.
Swerve.
Well, will saves or
Oh,
wisdom.
boy.
He's intelligent.
Sorry,
Full
will
caster
save.
though.
Yeah, full casters
Yeah,
get
will save.
good will saves technically, but
Don't say wisdom save because you're making me doubt if we're playing 5e and if we're playing. It's already confusing enough. Oh boy. Yep. Oh, so Sigus, you once again you sort of summon hurricane forces, create a small sphere of pure positive energy at the fingertip, at your index fingertip, and you sort of point it forward. And as you let loose this ray, this single ray of positive energy directly against the fungus, it strikes, and you see it sort of ripple over the fungus. And as it does, you see in the blinking of an eye, as this sort of ripple, almost like a single droplet falling into water, you see it very quickly expand and reach you. As the algae, or where the algae should have been, it quickly turns into this sort of filament fungus. And in the snap of an eye, you are blinded. You see nothing but darkness, and then you see a single pair of white eyes, like burning orbs of fire in the darkness, staring at you. And I need you to give me a fort save.
Oh. Okay.
He's not good at. That
Nope.
he's very bad at.
Nope. And this
We
could
may
be...
need a
Oh, there he
channel here
goes.
in a minute.
Hey, it rolled
yeah.
way better though.
So, Sigus, you see this pair of white orbs replacing what should be eyes of a pitch black creature in this darkness, and you see just a vague sort of rippling effect that gives off the glint, the reflection of those of the light from those eyes. And as it starts to step forward, you feel your arms become completely paralyzed, and you feel that paralysis start to seep into your body and reach your heart, and you feel your heart stop for what feels like minutes. And everyone else, you see Sigas go, "Ugh!"
Phew.
as he's having a heart attack, and as he drops to a knee, his heart goes back into beating, and you can take a deep breath as you realize that you have almost died from a complete and utterly overwhelming fear. And just before you recover your vision and you come back to reality, you see not just this overwhelming, tall, slender, shadowy figure standing in front of you, but a full dozen others, smaller, staring at you and surrounding you. And then you see the sets of eyes duplicate and triplicate and just expand as far as the eye can see, and you're completely surrounded before you wake up.
And then I wake up and they're all gone.
Yeah, you sort of snap back, you regain your vision, your normal vision, and you can sort of feel and see that sort of wisp of necrotic energy, wisp sort of washing over you as it's coming out of the room.
Um. Okay. Wow, that was a lot. Can I try and see if that's like a spell effect, or if I recognize the creatures,
Sure,
or
give me a spellcraft.
all right. Oof.
Boy, that's a
That
great
feels
start.
bad.
That is a great start to this session. You have no fucking clue what that was. And by the
Yep.
way, you have taken 9 points of lethal damage from your heart stopping for a couple seconds.
Got ya. Well, at least I haven't not dead yet.
Yep.
I remember that would take half your health, not almost half your health.
I am.
So much.
I am
Really?
personal growth. Um, I'm
He's
gonna
getting
be
thicker
like,
by the day.
what the fuck was that? And like, I have no idea. I'm gonna be clutching my chest and like on a knee and be like, I have no idea what just happened there, but there is some kind of great power in there. And either reacted to the positive energy, and I'd be like, Durbin, I don't know if I would channel in that room, whatever's in there.
Alright.
Or we might have to channel a lot. One way or the other.
Well, I do have a consecrate prepared
Yeah. It
to
almost stopped
hopefully
my heart.
reverse everything, which probably should let me lead the way. I appreciate the courage it took to come out here, but you're
Absolutely. I just thought I could blast some mold for you. I did not think
Yeah.
this one through.
no, you're good. Yeah, we probably should line up and get ready to enter in here if Rob and Slayer are ready.
Quick, we can hear Robert through Heidi's mic.
I've been muting myself when I'm not talking for the most part, but I
Okay.
don't know how to fix that.
I'll try to talk quieter.
You loud fuck. Yeah, alright.
Yeah.
All right. So what are
Pretty
you
much.
doing aside from debating?
I mean, I literally said, Robin and Sarah, if you guys are ready to go, we can enter this room. Because it seems that there's some great evil in here, in some way, shape, or form. Not sure if it's a creature or just the place, but
I suppose we can deal with that first. Also, Silera, maybe you don't want to look in this room. You've had a lot happen today.
I was just gonna help you.
I'm not saying this to be like sexist or anything, but like just as a person, you've had done a lot, and a lot has happened to you today. You probably shouldn't help with this room. It's bad.
Okay. And I'm just a little visibly frustrated. And so I'm just like, so I guess are we going in here?
Yeah, just listen to Dorbin. If he tells you to get the fuck out, get the fuck out.
Okay.
Right.
All right, I'm gonna head in.
All right. So as you round the corner and enter the room, I need you to hold for just a second as I describe what you see. With every step you take into this room, you hear that sort of wet crunching, almost like you're stepping on snails, as you're crushing this fungus beneath your boots. And you see, as I mentioned before, it sort of translates from blue to green and then black. As you see the black patch of fungus is sort of centered on this dark green overgrowth. And give me a perception check.
All right. Low roll, feel bad.
Is it on stone?
Right?
Give me just 1 second, cause
Also know that I'm holding my breath at this point.
that's fine. So yeah, you see the as I mentioned, the sort of black patch is centered in the green patch, and as you sort of squint your eyes, the patch of black fungus has a humanoid shape to it. Vaguely, it sort of looks like someone was um, scorched, standing in front of the wall, and their remains have been shadowed in the fungus. In front of the massive patch of this dark green and black fungus is a desk littered with writing implements and half-finished letters and others that seem to have been recently received, still open with the seal cracked. Um, and against the wall on the south, you see a artist's chair, having only a single arm rest and a back on an L shape. And you see where you would expect the painter's palette to be. Instead lies a bowl with a humanoid hand that has been sort of half chewed off lying in that bowl. And the uh, painting, which stands as a beautifully ornamented canvas, has what looks like two paintings, one that is being drawn on top of the other, and you see the vague silhouette of a woman behind on the original painting that has been tarred with blood, layers upon layers of blood, in order to create a painting that looks like a child's attempt at portraying Silera's likeness into a rather large canvas.
Ugh. I think I'm gonna head over and just check out the body.
All right. So, as I mentioned before, it sort of looks like someone was. Do you know what a? I'm trying to describe this in the best, like the most graphical way possible. You know what an explosion or a nuclear shadow is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it looks like someone's nuclear shadow against that wall, where everything that is the scorch mark is green, and where the clean part should be is pitch black. Doesn't look like there's a relief to it. It just looks like a shadow has been imprinted
Okay.
into the fungus.
Can I try to wipe it away?
Like, what are you using to wipe it away?
My axe.
Right? Yeah. Go ahead and Give me a strength check as you're trying to scrape the fungus away. Are you just scraping the black part?
I'm trying to go through both black and green.
All right. Yeah. Give me a strength check
Like,
first.
let's say we're like trying to take out his waste or something.
Yeah. You're trying to sort of, I'm guessing, like scratch the surface of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Um. Give me. Give me a will save.
All right.
Cleric says, "Is he like, yeah, whatever. It's just a save.
Which
It's
incoming
just a
now
saving
one.
throw." No, not at all.
All right. So you put your axe to the fungus, and as you start scraping through it, you have like a flash of an image of the black fungus sort of reaching out, the shadowy shadow imprinted into it, sort of reaching into a three-dimensional form and grabbing your arm, and just as quickly as you see that, it sort of is gone, and you see the shadow as you sort of finish with a swift slice through the fungus, peeling it off from the wall.
Now that the wall's bare in that area, is there anything on the wall at all? Any kind of I don't know, picture, drawings, sketchings, anything like that?
Give me a perception check, I would say.
Oh, got it.
Damn.
Damn,
I think
dude.
he sees it.
Right. So, uh, doesn't look like there's anything imprinted onto it, but there's like a few. It looks like indentations into the wall, like something literally exploded and sent fragments of something into the wall, encrusting them. And as you sort of spot them, it looks like black glass, like obsidian glass, has been sort of punctured into the otherwise slate stone wall. And as you're sort of like taking a step back, trying to spot the different places where these fragments are, you sort of hear a little bit of a crunch underneath your foot that sounds glassy. And as you sort of lift your boot aside and you look down, there's a few more pieces of these shattered obsidian glass fragments, and there's what looks like about a third of a cube made of this material, lying sort of encrusted amongst a mound of uh, this greenish, dark, bluish fungus, like close to the frontier between the two colors. Likewise, you sort of spot about 3 feet away from that one, from that sort of point of interest, what looks like half of a small bell, a chime, like a dinner chime, also encrusted into the fungus.
Huh. Interesting. I will grab those two things. The chime and the
Okay. Which one do you grab
2/3
first?
of probably the one that's closest to me, so the cube.
All right. The moment you touch the cube, you can immediately tell this is infused with evil.
Alright.
And it sort of burns your fingertips when you touch it, but you can hold to it. It's not the kind of searing, destructive burn from fire, but it's still a very unpleasant sensation as you hold it. And as you do you try and hold it still, or do you want to drop it perhaps?
Might break if you drop it because it's glass.
I mean, that's why I'm contemplating chucking it into the ground. I'm not gonna do that. I'll leave it. I'll let it go and
Right, yeah, you sort of
so,
feel the burn in your fingertips, and as you've got it like a couple inches off the floor, sort of ripping it out from the fungal grasp. You let go and it sort of squishes back onto the floor. And now it sort of lies on the floor, tilted a little bit as you picked it up. You can see the other sides of the cube that have remained a little bit more intact, and you can tell that there are golden, sort of gold leaf ingrained patterns on the otherwise obsidian cube.
Out of character, you guys might remember that portrait upstairs of the black box and all the creatures running away from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna actually go to this canvas of Cellar's face,
Yep.
and I'm gonna rip it down.
Just rip the entire canvas out.
Yep. I'm destroying it as the best I can.
Okay. Sure. I mean, you take a knife to it, or your axe to it, I guess, and you destroy not only the painting of Cellar at the front, but also the underlying painting beneath the layers of blood.
Yeah. And with that, I am going to head back out to the party. Relate to them my discoveries. Thinking that I found like the weird box thing that the picture upstairs is about. And there's a weird bell. There's onyx in the wall and like a
Obsidian, right?
yeah, obsidian, yeah. Sorry. And a weird. I mean, the fungus definitely has evil within somehow, some way, and it does not like being taken out. But I was wondering if I should just destroy the cube, or just consecrate the ground that it's on, and then go to the church on what they want to do with that afterwards.
What would consecrating the area do to it?
It would
It
negate
would-
the desecrate.
Yeah, it would negate any kind of evil that is within these grounds.
That's
Okay.
permeating the ground, basically.
Yeah.
Would that evil fight back at that point?
Probably.
Okay. I think you're right. It's a good spot to start. Sorry, Sally, you
Yeah.
were gonna say?
I would rather not destroy it, just because of, especially the imagery of creatures fleeing from the cube. I just don't have. I mean, even if we do have to fight it, I would rather try and consecrate it than try and destroy it, because I feel like destroying it is a terrible idea.
And I probably shouldn't touch it, for the record.
Yeah. No, that'd probably be a real bad
And I
idea.
probably shouldn't touch it.
From
I
what
shouldn't
I
touch
can
anything.
from what I can tell,
True.
I mean, it looks like it's already broken. Because there's like a third of it missing. Like it's been crushed, and I stepped on it
cube?
as well. And yeah.
God, maybe that's like it was broken and it's been leaking out or something.
That's
'Cause
what
in
I
the
was thinking.
paintings, if we remember, was it like a box with like a lid, or is it just like a cube?
It looks
I thought
like
it was just a,
at one point it was a cube, but 2/3 of it are shattered. So you're not certain if it was a cube or a box. It could have been either.
But was the painting a box
Um,
or a cube?
Oh, the painting was a box with its
okay.
lid open, and it sort
Okay,
of
so
depicted a whirlpool.
That could have been like a
of energy.
metaphor.
Yeah,
Like-
I mean, this thing could have been in a box beforehand.
Yeah. It also could have been,
Yes.
symbolized as a box, even though it didn't have a lid. And now that it's shattered, whatever was inside is out.
Yeah, that's my thought process.
Evil Ark of the Covenant. Yeah.
Which is why I thought
I
like
agree.
completely destroying
Um,
it, because it seems to be leaking whatever magic is left in it. That may be what's infected the fungus and made this fungus the way it is.
I mean, you're the expert, not us.
Yeah, I think likely that will just destroy. But I
Also,
think what we should
You're
start with
breaking up.
Yeah, Shik,
bit.
you broke up right when you were going into it.
is this better?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it's probably destroying it, but I think starting with consecrating it and going from there is a great idea.
All right. Well, check how long it takes me to cast. I think it's
An hour?
um
While you do that, I'm going to
no
head this
standard
way.
action.
Okay, good.
I'm just kind of move a little bit away from that, just in case.
All right.
Robin like shoves a pile of body parts into the whirlpool with a like a wide shovel, like scraping it over the floor.
All right. Dorbin's gonna take a deep breath. Also, to note, he still has the rope tied around his waist, so he's gonna kind of leave that outside the room as a way to get him out if they need to.
Alright.
And
Smart.
he's gonna head back in, and he's going to take out his holy water and his 25 gold pieces of silver dust, and start casting.
All right. As you cast your consecrate spell, I would like you to roll me a knowledge religion
All right.
before I begin describing what you see.
All right. Skills. Knowledge religion. Oof.
Oh boy. Give me a will save.
All right. Ooh.
Give me a fort save.
There it is.
Oh,
I was like,
nice.
I gotta roll high eventually.
All right.
Yeah.
So Dorman, you concentrate as you pray to Abadar, and as you infuse the holy water in your hand with prayers to sanctify these desecrated grounds. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm having struggles with my left eye. It's burning up and I need to clean it. I can't get the little bit of dirt that went into it out. Ah, it's burning so much.
Just remove your eye, easy.
Already crying for us.
What happens when you cast detect magic in the house?
Yeah, it's like looking
like-
at chili powder.
The truth is, I was the evil undead creature all along, and casting
Of
consecrate
course.
is affecting me.
I mean, you killed Red, so yeah.
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 Right. So 1.5 CR zombies are being attacked by consecrate. So as I was saying, Dorban, as you infuse your prayers into the casket of holy water, the vial of holy water, and you begin to swing your arms of spraying the holy water, pushing back the evil forces that may be that are corrupting these lands. You see where your holy water lands on the fungus, it recedes, sort of burning, leaving scorch marks on the stone behind. And just as you start to think that you're pushing the darkness back, you see that where the water falls on the shadow, the humanoid shadow, it does nothing to burn it away. In fact, you see the fungus start to bubble and boil and double in size as it sort of spreads viciously outwards, and you see the mound of fungus start to grow beneath your feet, sort of lashing out at your legs, trying to grab you, hold of you. And as you see this, you sort of have a flashback of that nightmare that you had last night, as you feel your body sort of being overrun by fungus once more, and you feel sort of like tendrils, mycelia, sort of growing over your face and trying to crawl into your mouth and into your orifices. And as you sort of swing once more with your holy water, you break through this sort of slow, corrosive incursion upon your mind, and you see the fungus, while corroded away, mostly burnt away, still remains partially there, and you can feel like something is wrong, like your consecrate spell hasn't been enough to destroy whatever is still lingering there. Also, in your desperation, you can feel that you have taken 14 points of lethal damage.
All right. Ow.
Yep. You can also give me a spellcraft check if you're proficient in it.
Nope.
Sorry, not proficient. What is it? Trained in it.
Trained, yeah. I am. Nope.
Right then, nope. You have the knowledge that you have, my friend.
All right. All right. I guess I'll head back out to the party.
So did it affect the area not immediately surrounding the box though?
No,
Or no?
so Dorman, you would know that it's sort of you attempted to cast consecrate, and whatever is desecrating this land is stronger than your consecration could pull through.
Gotcha.
You would need a
I
you
don't
would
have
need
like
a
a caster level check to beat it or anything.
you would need a higher level spell to beat it.
Okay, gotcha.
Something like perhaps a hallow spell would be what you're looking for.
Oof.
It's like the campaigns are merging together.
Yeah, I know, right?
Would
Oh.
would remove curse do it for something like that if it was a curse?
No. We're talking higher tiers of magic here. We're talking the
Yeah.
upper half of the echelon.
Okay. No, I'm just curious.
So should I just go in?
I mean, I think Sigus should take a look at. I mean, I would suggest not breathing in or fucking with the fungus at all, because every time that I've messed with it, I mean, any of us have messed with it, it's been bad for us. Also, you see that Dwarven is a little more haggard after coming out of there. um, so I would not mess with anything. I just want Sigus to look at some stuff to see if he can figure out what it is,
Got ya.
because I
Do we
do not do
want to
books.
just back away from there and like heal quickly before we go in?
I mean, I can hit everybody real quick with the. Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely move away from it.
Yes.
But yeah, I can hit us with a couple wand charges real quick.
I probably just need like one.
6 for
You
you.
got you got a desk full of junk in there too to go through, plus the
Yeah.
cape.
Yeah. Which I was gonna let Sigus do. I mean, obviously, I'm gonna join Sigus in there, and then I'm gonna hit myself for
So
8.
for the people that took damage, do they describe it as like, because as you know, out of character, you said like they basically suffered like a panic attack from fear, right?
Yeah.
Do they describe it like that?
I mean, that's what they feel. So,
Okay.
however way Sigus and Dorman would like to describe it.
Yeah, Robin will ask and would like to sort of be like, you guys look like something happened. Like, can you explain?
I mean, I think it's similar to what Silera kind of experienced. Only like I wasn't like physically attacked in the vision. It's doing some kind of like mental damage. Is the only thing I can think of. It's not something that is. I mean, it's fear based for sure, but outside of that, I don't know any more about like any other way to explain how I'm getting wounded.
Do you mind if I take a look?
Sure.
Okay.
Is
Now
is-
Robin's like, oh, it's fear based. I'm a paladin. I need to like actually be courageous and brave, and he's gonna walk in there
all right.
Dorban's gonna follow and
just
wave
in
Sigus.
case. Yeah.
So will Sigus?
Yeah.
All right.
And Silera is more than welcome to join as well as
Right.
Yeah.
Dorban.
Robin, as I mentioned before, you see a rather large patch of dark green and black fungus, sort of as a centerpiece in the wall of this sort of cavernous room. And to the south, you see the broken down painting lying in tatters on the floor. A half-eaten humanoid hand lying in a bowl filled with rotting blood, coagulating blood, sitting near the painter's chair, a desk covered in writing materials as well as a small journal. And on the floor, as Dorban mentioned before, you see broken down cube of obsidian sitting near a small chime.
All right. Robin's gonna make his any tool into a pair of tongs. He's gonna pick up the cube and he's gonna put it into the fanny pack of holding.
All right, you pick up the broken down cube and you put it in your fanny pack of holding.
We're gonna
Hey.
take this to Magnamar and bring it to a church.
Sounds like a good idea.
I hate that I have invented the fanny pack of holding.
Or the fact that it
The
looks good on Robin.
best.
Yeah.
It works
It's
so
a
well
steaming
on the
piece for
road.
Robin.
Yeah.
The ultimate shed.
Robin's gonna take out a potion of cure light wounds, and he's gonna pop the cork and he's gonna pour it on the black and green mold.
All right. Fucking Christ, give me a will save.
Okay.
You guys are not getting the message from this
Is
thing.
this a fear-based effect?
Yes.
I'm immune.
Interesting. Still give me a will save.
Okay. I'm just gonna remove the potion.
Hence why he asked
Yeah.
those questions. Very smart.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm gonna need you all to stop moving as Robin is doing this. Yeah. All right. So Robin, you pour down the potion. And despite you feeling your heart doesn't beat any slower or faster than usual, you see as the fungus sort of burns and pulls away from where you poured the potion. And for a moment, you feel something encroaching on your mind as you are suddenly taken back to that moment in the nightmare where you were converted into a fungal tree. And you can feel your body sort of being held paralyzed as your arm doesn't move. You empty the last remainder of the potion and you're sort of being held there by something. And then a few moments go by, another one, and you can feel your skin sort of burning a little bit as you see sort of spores start to take root in your hand, and then it sort of snaps out and you sort of shake your hand free, and you see the spores are gone.
Last drop.
Yeah, with the last drop.
And then I'm gonna throw the glass vial at the moss and be like, "Joke's on you. I'm too stupid to be scared." All right.
And Sigus, as you take a step into the room, sort of looking over Dorban's shoulder, I need you to give me another will save.
Oh no. Sure. Don't roll the one. Ugh, I rolled the
Oh.
one again.
Right, so Sigus, as you step
Not
into
a
the
one.
room, you
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to send this privately to you. Give me 1 sec.
Quickly clack. We're doing a type.
Hashtag type E.
I fail by more.
Doesn't matter.
20 or Discord.
Doesn't matter.
Did you send him a PM on roll
Got it.
20?
No, I'm sending
okay.
I'm sending you a private message over roll 20. My question is, you mentioned did you fail by 5 or more?
Right.
Why does it matter?
I don't know. Sometimes
okay.
things just are. I just rolled less this time.
Okay,
and
okay.
Now
No,
you're
I'm-
sending me private things, so
Yeah, no, I'm
Fuck.
asking because maybe you had some ability that adds a little bit more, and I don't want to tell you whether
No.
it was close or not. I just want to know if
No,
you just have
absolutely.
abilities that
Yeah.
might close
No.
the gap. Okay. There you go. Read that message to yourself and act upon it accordingly.
Okay.
Yikes.
Yep. So Siggis, you sort of hear a little bit of a buzzing, and you
Mhm.
sort of feel a little bit nauseated.
Yeah, I don't feel so good. Um. Okay. I guess I'm going to be peering over Jordan's shoulder, and I'm gonna be like, "What's he doing?" And I'm gonna kind of try and move past Jordan and Silera over here, and am looking around the room and inspecting like the floors and the walls, and it's like everything just covered in mold.
So if you look at the map, there's like a faint greener texture to the stone.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Everything that is green is covered by that green moss, and then there's a little bit of a patch of black right there, and that's where the sort of shadow, the humanoid shadow of fungus remains.
Oh god, yeah.
And just because I wasn't very clear on it, it is at the
Mhm.
feet of the shadow that you guys found the box.
God, yeah.
But yeah, the dark green is sort of this sort of rich,
Mhm.
more like death cap looking fungus, where the bluish fungus was more tendril.
God, yeah. So I'm going to move up to the dark fungus, and I'm going to like inspect it and see if I can tell some difference. And I'm going to, I guess, reach out and I'm going to pluck a piece of it,
Yeah.
and then I'm gonna eat it.
Yep. As you guys see, Sigis
Can
sort
I
of
stop him from eating that?
I'm standing right beside him. Can I just watch him slowly doing this and smack him? What the fuck is wrong with you?
So you see Sigis sort of move past you guys, and he takes a sample and he's sort of like holding it up, and it looks like he's inspecting it, like he's magically using like detect magic to inspect its qualities. And as you sort of see him sort of flip it over side to side, you suddenly see him go and just slam it into his mouth, like and much like a dog that is has eaten something that its owner doesn't approve of. Robin, you sort of go to grab Sigis just a second too late.
I just
As
knock him out so he stops chewing.
Heimlich. Give him the Heimlich maneuver.
uh,
You probably.
I mean, you can probably knock him out, but as you sort of hold him first, because you did say you wanted to grab him.
Yeah.
You grab him a second too late as the fungus is already on his mouth. And as you let go of his hands, you hear the gulp as the fungus goes down his throat.
In that time, could I have, like, seeing him eating it, could I have channeled to harm undead
Yeah, sure you can.
to get rid of? I'm trying to dissipate the fungus before he swallows it. Was the plan?
Yeah, go.
Guys,
The
this gets
positive energy,
long.
guys. The positive
I
energy.
know.
It doesn't work.
Right.
Well, it
so,
gets rid of it though.
Except
like-
for that pit that he picked. He's picking from the bad bit.
He's picking from the black
Oh.
patch.
Oh,
So
God.
you sort of try and hope for the best. You channel out your positive energy. It washes over your companions, but it reaches Sigas just after you hear the sort of echo of the gulp. And Sigas, you sort of feel that compulsion to devour the fungus dissipate just as quickly as you feel something in your stomach just growling. Give me a fortitude save.
Oh
Oh
God.
god.
What if I
Oh.
stuck my finger?
Shit.
He swallowed it. It's gone.
Puke.
Guys,
She
I
wants to
can't
make him puke, but
with extra steps.
yeah, it is. I mean, you're the one eating fungus. No, yeah, we
I-
heard you. I think. Yeah, they're talking.
Did someone want to add something before I reveal
So
what's
there
going
was gonna try to make him throw up.
on? Right.
Okay.
I mean, it's too late, but like Solaris, you sort of rush over to grab hold of Sigas as you try to push 2 fingers into his mouth. Sigis, you can react to this however you want. However, as you feel this sort of retching and gurgling of sort of forcing its way back up your digestive system, Cellar sort of touches your uvula and you throw up, spewing out. At first, the the mix of gastric acid, and you spot the bit of death cap mushroom that you ingested, and for a second you feel better, and a second later you sort of feel this sort of growing sensation in your stomach as you see your skin turn a paler shade of gray, and you see patches of uh, reddish skin, sort of like a rash, breaking out on your neck, on your arms, taking over your body very quickly as you take 3 points of Constitution damage and 2 points of actually, wait, no, hold on.
Ow.
This one is flipped. Give me 1 second. Let's double check what it was.
So much Kool-Aid.
Yeah. Yep, wrong one. Just 1 second, guys. Yeah, you take. In fact, I need to re-roll this because it is a different die. But I'm sorry, Sigus. You take 4 points of Constitution and 4 points of
Holy
Charisma
shit.
damage.
4 Constitution and
And
4
4
Dexterity.
Charisma.
No charisma.
Charisma.
Mhm.
Okay then.
As you feel
You-
this fungus not just draining your life force, but also you feel the whispers of a gravelly male voice in the recesses of your mind, just echoing, "My legacy. My
Oh shit.
legacy."
It's
Right?
one hilarious, very interesting because it's really links with a ton of the fluff I've been writing for Sigus. Also, I just want to point out that my health bar looks fine, but that value is 10.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
when I
no.
love tap you, you die. Got it. Understood.
Yeah,
Yep.
just so you guys know, I thought that'd be important information.
Yeah,
Sorry
you-
guys.
Go ahead.
No, I was just, no, it's you go.
All right. So as I mentioned, you guys see Sigus after having retched. He sort of is looking very queasy still, and he's turning paler, and he's having what looks like an allergic reaction to the mushroom. But also, you see his eyes sort of probably look a little bit crazed at the moment. And Sigus, you sort of feel another wave of retching, and as you vomit, you spot several infantile death cup mushrooms that you throw up, and you can feel your stomach continuously growing the mushroom inside of your stomach.
God, yeah. Not like
Get
this.
him to a doctor.
Yeah,
We're well past that.
You're gonna have a full alien burst. In like the worst possible way.
Hmm.
All right, so
So this is a death cap mushroom, right?
it looks like it. Give me a craft alchemy check, which I know you have.
Yeah, because poisons are a thing.
Mm-hmm. While it looks like a death cap mushroom, it is in fact not. It is in fact what looks like a relative of a death cap. However, you don't spot the sort of powdery substance that you would usually find in such a fungus, which contains the poison. Instead, upon touching that sort of um, the seeds of the fungus, um, the spores of it,
Hmm.
it sort of immediately starts to grow tiny blisters on your skin, and you see the
I do have
blisters.
gloves.
Yeah, so like it begins to form blisters on the leather itself,
Oh,
and those
okay.
blisters form
Ugh.
into tiny, like embryonic formations of these fungus.
Yeah.
Do we all see that also?
Yes, yes, you do.
Hey, Dorman, do you still have those bombs?
I do.
All right, everybody out.
Uh,
For once, I agree with Robin.
Can you grab those papers and stuff on the desk? Because maybe they might be useful. I'm pretty sure they're just love letters to Silera that just he didn't agree on. But also,
Dorban will
Dorban-
grab the stuff. Yeah.
yeah,
You
yeah.
guys get out. I'll be the last one out.
Silera, just take care of Sigus. Make him throw up more.
come on, say yes this way.
Preferably into the whirlpool. Wait, no,
Yeah.
JK, not in the whirlpool. We don't want those spores
They
scooting
can't-
into water.
They can't grow underwater.
Okay.
They also shouldn't grow in me.
No, they do that.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Wait, how do we know they can't grow underwater?
Robin knows.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
they can grow.
He's a man
in
of science.
They can grow like with a lot of water around them, but not completely underwater.
Follow me,
Also, there's
child.
salt water as well, so they definitely can't grow in that. I think that's salt water because it's right by the ocean. Was it? Because I was in it.
Yes, it was salt water.
Yeah. So yeah, they can't grow in salt water for sure.
All right. Siggis, are you leaving with your
I
companions?
am. I wasn't sure if I'm entirely under my own power and aware of my own mistakes.
Yes, you are. You're entirely
Excellent.
aware of
He
the.
doesn't even know where he is at this point.
Aware of how fucking dumb that was.
You're
I
aware
was-
of the vile wretchedness that overtook your mind and forced you to ingest those mushrooms.
I fully understand that this was I think the stupidest thing I did. The stupidest thing I think I've ever seen a character do. But guys, God told me to do it. I had to. I'm gonna.
You pulled a
I'm gonna-
Greta.
I'm
You
gonna-
pulled a goddamn
I'm
Greta.
gonna- I'm gonna go out and say that maybe God didn't tell you to do this.
No, but voice
Uh,
of the.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
Robin's
throw
gonna
up
just.
into that alcove.
Yeah, absolutely. I
Yeah.
just cleaned that. No. Robin's just gonna wait for Dorban to hand him an explosive, and yep.
All right, so Dorman, you pick the desk clean, putting journals and what looks like, as you're sort of rummaging through the papers, trying to put them into your satchel, what looks like ledgers and accounting books, as well as the journal that looks like a personal journal, leather-bound tome, and then there's a smaller tome near it, like palm-sized book that was open, and it looks like a more private ledger, something akin to a black book, if you will.
All right.
And as you sort of
Before we
go ahead.
before we decide to do these explosives, are they timed?
Nope. But
Because
I
the
know that they have
idea
like a
of-
slight delay.
Because the idea of being down here with the whirlpool so close to that room, I am concerned about it blowing us up or sending us to the world.
I mean,
Well, we've already chucked like a bunch down here, and it's still standing.
no, I think she's talking about the blowback of us going into the whirlpool.
Yeah.
Oh,
what
just
what
stand
my
away from the
suggestion?
door.
I mean, yeah, once Dorban cleans all this out and gets back there.
You know, shut the door?
No, we're gonna throw the stuff into that room.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tie up. I'm gonna tie Robin to Dorban, and then Dorban's gonna hustle to the other side. So that if he gets blown back, we just pull up the rope, and Robin's fine.
Okay. Okay, fair. I just wanted to make sure that we're not just doing it willy nilly.
All right.
Yeah.
I got 180 feet, or right? Yeah,
120.
A lot.
or 180 feet of rope pretty much tied to me right now. So
All right. So how are you? What are you doing with the explosives? Are you just gonna chuck them all at once? Are you gonna put them in and then throw another one to ignite it? What are you
As
doing?
much as I want to throw all of them at once, Robin's going to start with one.
Just one?
Because we just need to. His idea is like, well, if positive energy isn't getting rid of this, maybe we can just burn away the fungus with fire and
Alright.
acid.
All right. So which one are you using?
That's up to Dorbin.
All right, Dorban, which one are you guys using?
Some of them
As-
had
as
like crazy
not a
fire
chemist,
components.
Oh.
Dorbin's just gonna show him the sec and like,
Okay.
you picked it.
All right.
I
Well,
don't know
one of
anything about
them,
this
one
stuff.
of them was definitely just a cloud of gas, so I'm not picking that one. I'm gonna
Alright.
pick like one that just explodes.
All right. Yeah. You take one of the few remaining explosives that is not the gas form, and you have it in your hand. It's a long, sort of test tube type of vial with a sort of dark reddish liquid inside that seems to turn a molten golden color as it swivels around.
Is this nitroglycerin?
You've leveled up since the last time you looked at these ones. Have you taken another rank in craft alchemy?
I have maxed my ranks.
All right, then give me a craft alchemy check. Now that
Okay.
you've been around the
I
explosives.
was like, you know what? I need this.
Yeah.
Damn,
Alright.
son.
Hey.
A
So, you're not certain how the fuck Grigori got his hands on this one. This looks like liquid dragon's breath, which is a type of explosive, which mimics a dragon's breath.
Oh my god. Okay,
And
well,
in total, there were 4 of these. So do with that what you will.
and the cloud of gas one, I'm just thinking about it because, like, that gas was acidic. That might be enough to just melt the fungus. Can I check that too?
Sure.
Bruh.
Yeah. That one actually is. It looks like an alchemist's potion. Not an alchemist's potion. What is it called?
Alchemist
Infusion?
fire?
No, an infusion.
Oh,
Oh.
okay.
The spell like type of bombs that they have or potions that they have, and it would simulate a stinking cloud.
Okay, so just a stinking cloud.
Yeah.
Is that flammable?
Yes, technically.
All right. Robin's going to go ahead, put on his nose peg, take the dragon's breath, take a stinking cloud, and he's gonna tell Dorbin to back the fuck up.
I mean, yeah. Once you were like, he's leaving the bag of the stuff and he's coming up
Oh.
here.
Okay, so I'll put the bag in my fanny pack. I'll take those 2 out. And
so I guess let's go.
All right, squad. It's time.
Before, I don't know. Was this all one round?
no, maybe a few.
I mean, he was probably like inspecting it and stuff. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
probably-
thinking
They
of
were
going
like
talking it
getting-
over too.
Yeah, he's
Am I
going over
getting
the.
worse each round?
No, it doesn't look like it, but you can feel like every now and then like a little bit of like a stomach ache as you sort of feel ballooning in your stomach. You need to barf and burp,
Yeah.
and then a couple rounds later you end up going. Then you spit out a once again an infantile, a sort of embryonic fungus. Like the size,
Into the whirlpool.
the size of these mushrooms that are growing in your stomach is about half an inch large that you're spitting out, and there's like every like 10 rounds you're spitting 2 of them. It's not like extremely quick, but you can feel it growing in your stomach, which is probably empty at this point, which it makes it feel like there's something moving inside.
Got ya. Could I try and identify what that voice was? Like, is that it's clearly a spell component. Like, do I detect any magic coming from within me?
It's a good question. You can cast detect magic. But whoa. You can
Sorry.
cast the detect magic on yourself, or like looking at yourself with your detect magic, but you don't see any aside from the magical items. You don't see anything emanating from inside of your body. You can feel like you can sense your own arcane energy, sort of, wow, sort of giving you a feedback loop as you generate energy and push it out of your body and back into it. But,
Sorry, my headphones disconnected. They died, and I just had to plug them in, so I
yeah,
missed that. I'm so
I
sorry.
heard it. All right, I'll just say it again because I heard your headset dying. Um, as I was saying, you cast detect magic. You look at yourself, and aside from your magical items and your own latent arcane energies, you don't see any kind of active magical effect upon you.
Okay. Then I'm just going to go with Silera and flee.
All right.
Let's go.
Right. How far away are you guys getting before, or better yet, Robin? How long do you wait for them to get away before you chuck these in?
I mean, once they're like up this ledge, they're pretty far away, honestly. And I'm gonna close the door. Like, I'm gonna chuck the stinking cloud first, hold my breath, and then once it's spread throughout the whole room, I'm gonna chuck the dragon's breath and close the door behind me.
Just the dragon's breath?
Well, the sinking cloud first because it's flammable,
Oh,
then the
okay.
dragon's breath.
All right.
Yeah. So it covers everything in the room.
All right. But once again, like you're waiting for them to be how far away? Sorry.
At least up this ledge where Dorbin
Right.
and Silera are.
Yeah. So you
So,
sort of
like that way they don't have to climb or anything.
yeah, you sort of look over your shoulder. You wait a couple seconds, wait for them to get up the ledge, and as you see them sort of, Sig is being a little bit further behind as he has to stop every now and then to deal with the nausea. He gets up. Dorbin and Celera, you guys sort of lift him up the rest of the way.
Yeah.
And as you three turn your heads over in Robin's direction, Robin, you start shaking the green vial, throw it in, and as it crashes, you start to see a noxious gas quickly start to engulf the room.
Does it look like it's covering all the way to the back?
Yeah, it's gonna. You threw it over here, so it's taking it has a
Right.
20 feet radius, so it's gonna take everything up.
Perfect.
And it's like exponentially expanding. Like
Okay. Well, then if it's exponentially expanding, I'm gonna need to chuck this dragon's breath real quick, pop out the door, and then shut that motherfucker.
You sort of see it start to expand very quickly. You grab hold of the door with your offhand. You shake the dragon's breath vial with your right hand. You chuck it in, close the door, and just a second later, I am gonna need you to roll me a reflex save.
Sure thing.
All right. You manage to
Yay.
roll over as you feel the vibration, the immediate vibration against the wall, the door. You feel the heat coming from it. You sort of roll over, putting your back to the wall and climbing up a little bit as you see, and everyone sees the door just with its hinges still attached, come flying across the room and dropping into the well as a spout of flames takes up a good 15 feet of air, just engulfing it in pure hellfire for a brief second before evaporating and sizzling out. So you see like
Right.
fire taking up all of
Jesus.
this area.
Damn.
Yeah. All right, Robin will go take a look at the damage, see if it worked.
Yeah, you see nothing but black inside of this room.
All right, he's gonna turn his any tool into like I guess a shovel again. He's gonna try and scrape off the char stuff, see if it killed the fungus.
Yeah. So the floor seems to be made out mostly out of charcoal right now, and as you sort of shoving your shovel around, you hear a little bit of a tink tink as you hit something metallic on the floor. You can spot like the wooden desk hasn't completely been destroyed. You can see that there's bits of it,
The
and you can
legs,
see the sort of
yeah.
veins of flames as the inside are now embers, and it's slowly burning.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I mean, if it looks like it's killed all of the fungus, I mean, I'll do a thorough check if I have
Yeah,
to be
give me
sure.
give me a perception check. All right. I mean, the metallic thing that you're hitting with your shovel seems to be the chime. That
Okay.
seems completely unscathed as you sort of bring up the ashes and you sort of shake it around a little bit to drop the the black charring. You see the beautiful silver chime glinting as if it were brand new and right off of the forges.
All right.
And as
Nice.
you sort of dig your shovel afterwards against the wall, you sort of clunk it a couple times. You see the layer of charcoal sort of start to peel away and drop in pieces, revealing the clean slate rock behind it.
I think we're good in here. Silara, can I borrow you for a sec?
Sure. I'll
Uh,
hop down.
You know that thing you did with the slimy floor? You think you can do that to clean the charcoal off the walls?
Oh, yeah. I'll do that.
Just to make sure everything's dead.
Yeah.
Right?
I'll go ahead and I'll cast
Prestidigitation.
Yeah.
It took me a while too, don't worry.
Yep. The bane of every
I'm not
brain.
even trying at this point.
Might
I'm
be
also just
worth.
holding the silver chime as well.
Right.
Gotcha.
Right. So Celera, you walk into the room. Do you go? So where are you trying to clean up? Where's-
Wherever Robin is pointing into which areas need to be clean.
I mean, just like check the patch of floor on you and the wall on you, and just check see if the floor and walls have been cleaned, and then the desk, I guess.
Okay. Cool. So I'll kind of clean. Whoop.
And Robin's like
Okay.
there, picking bits away with his shovel as well, helping out.
Right. So sorry,
Is this the desk?
the desk is this right here. Oops.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell.
I'm
Everything's
gonna-
burned.
I'm gonna start with the desk.
Right. You prestidigitate the desk, and sure enough, like you peeled away the layer of charred wood on the outermost layer, leaving behind what looks like a very raw, natural wooden desk that has been cracked in multiple places and still has veins of embers running through it. And the ground around it sort of cleans out and remains a pure blank slate. A slate. Get it?
Mm-hmm.
A pure blank slate of what?
A slate, because
Because it's
Oh.
slate. Yeah.
It's like
Oh,
yeah.
okay. I thought I heard you say slate twice, but I was just like,
No.
he's just
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. I did.
Gotcha.
I did. It was a
Yeah.
rock pun.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man, those geology jokes really rock.
Mm-hmm.
God. And then I'm gonna try and clean up like this area too.
All right. And once again, you sort of cast prestidigitate over and over again. And as you're cleaning the area, you sort of reveal chunks of wood and what looks like the remains of a tattered and mostly consumed canvas with it looks like just scrapes, bits and pieces of a painting. And as you continue to prestidigitate, cleaning away, you find a very much consumed bowl, wooden bowl. as well as the legs of a chair. Everything else has been consumed by fire.
Yeah.
Do I know where is the cube? Is it
I've
even
got
in
it.
here anymore? Is it gone?
Robin has
Oh,
it
you
in
got it.
his
It's in the
his fanny
fanny pack.
pack.
Oh, you did that before you burned everything.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anything look? Does everything just look gone? All of the fungus and everything.
Do you clean the wall as well?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So as you start cleaning the wall where the fungus was, you clean it. You sort of very thoroughly clean the wall, and it is when you get to around this point, starting from the south, and you get to where the darker death cap mushroom was, that you prestidigitate the grime away and are greeted by a rather grim, sudden imagery as you see the shadowy figure is still sort of imprinted into the wall. And right where the eyes of a person should be, you see the sprouts, the tiniest sprouts of white, pure white death cup mushrooms.
Oh, let me take a look at those.
Well, I'll back up so you can take a look.
Are those different from the ones, or are they the exact same, just fresh?
All right, are you grabbing hold of them?
No, I'm just taking a look
All right,
because they're white instead of black.
they look identical to the others, with the exception of being white instead of black.
Okay. Can Robin make his any tool into a pickaxe and like mine that chunk of the wall away?
Sure, you can try. Give me a strength check. And you're aiming for the spot where the eyes are, right?
I want to do around the head kind of thing. Like I want to remove that chunk from the wall and like throw it in the ocean.
All right. You take your pickaxe to the wall and thunk. You can feel like something like shuddered a little bit, and as you take your multitude against at it again, you go thunk, and you hear the crack as the tip of your multitool bends inwards.
I'm gonna turn it into a sledge.
All right. You take your
I'm gonna
sledge
aim
against the wall
above it.
again. Okay.
Yeah, actually, I'll aim below the mushrooms.
Sure. You. So you're going for like the neck area of the shadow?
Like the chest sort of thing, just
Okay.
above it.
Yeah. You give me another strength check, I guess.
Is that gonna roll or no?
Just give it a
Roll?
second.
Oh,
So-
oh, there we
Yeah.
go. Okay.
So I'll take the 10. You take
Sure, yeah.
your sledgehammer against it, and as you connect with the wall, you feel the reverberation run up your arms and sort of freezes you in place. And as you start to try and pull the sledge away, you sort of feel your arms are stuck, and the hammer is as well. And it takes a couple seconds before your arms are released, and you
Ugh.
pull the sledge off of the wall.
You know who I should be asking to do the mining?
The dwarf?
The dwarf. Hey, Dorbin,
Yeah.
Yeah.
can
He
I
might
get
be
your
very
help?
helpful.
I mean, I guess so.
Yeah.
Might be worth getting Sigus to look at the bell too, since it survived Dragonfire.
Yeah.
Unscathed.
I'll go
and
back by
untouched, yeah.
Sigus.
Sigus
Yeah.
would
I mean-
also like Robin's help with. He has some questions about this mushroom that he's still throwing up.
Obviously, yeah. I'm gonna be like, hey, Dorbin, you see that part where the eye mushrooms are? If we can just remove that from the wall, we can take it with us, and it won't spread anywhere.
Okay. So I'm gonna take out a pick,
Attaboy.
like
Can
an
I
actual
aid
pick.
him?
All right, and you're gonna take it to the wall or what?
Yeah.
All right, give me a strength check first.
And I'd like to assist.
All right,
All right.
Fuck.
you're not assisting.
Oof.
And Darwin,
Oh, wow.
Darwin, as you
Guys.
take the pick to the wall,
Wow.
you
Guys.
you sort of connect with it in a poor in a poor angle, and it sort of slides out off, and you can feel the metal pin sort of holding the head in the right direction sort of snaps, and the head of the pickaxe sort of turns, slides on the axis, and sort of like is free to slide off at any point.
Yeah. All right, that was a bad swing. All right.
I
It's been a
mean,
bit since I mined last, so
You hear
So-
someone complain about RuneScape mechanics.
yeah.
So Dorban, in your dwarven opinion, what about like a hammer and chisel? Would that be better, or is the pickaxe the option here?
What role would I do to understand? I mean, probably one I
Knowledge
don't have.
engineering.
All right. I mean, I can get a 10, I guess.
Yeah,
Sure.
Oh shit!
yeah,
I got a 10.
yeah.
As your dwarven instincts and your classical formation, as far as basic education goes, tells you that yeah, I mean, the hammer chisel would be great if you were planning to do like a statue out of this, and it will take a fucking long time. But if you just want to break it as quick as possible, definitely pickaxe. Though
Alright.
it looks like this is slate. This is gonna take a fucking long time to go through.
I think it's
Does anybody
worth
need
it.
help? Anybody need help
Yes.
in there?
Yeah, come on, Sigs.
All right.
What can we do to help Sigus? Oh man.
Do you know? Okay.
Can I, like, take a after that awful swing?
This is very afraid to go back into this room, so he's gonna kind of just like hang out over here.
Yeah.
Before Dorman takes another swing, can he figure out like a
weak
way
point?
that Dorman may be able to heal whatever's wrong with him currently?
Sure, you can give me a heal check.
Well,
All right.
Nice.
Yeah, it looks like Sigis is being affected by a supernatural disease of some kind. Um, the effects look somewhat similar to ghoul fever, but the mushroom growing inside of his body tells you that perhaps there is some kind of difference in there. Something
This is the fungus that can
strange.
carry cool fever.
Yeah.
So, can you remove disease?
Not today.
Okay.
would it help if I drank a cure potion, or is that gonna make like all the other positive
It's
energy?
Not gonna
backlashes?
do anything to help.
No.
Got ya.
It'll heal your wounds, and that'll be the extent of it. You'd need a
Got ya.
remove disease potion to
Okay.
get
Yeah.
rid of that. But
Can I see if I understand this any better?
Sure. You can give me a knowledge arcana.
Okay. And I also read that book about.
You also read that
things,
book,
or
yeah.
skimmed it.
Yeah. So
hey,
you recall reading in the book there were some annotations about a particular fungus. One that would be not just the one that you read in the cathedral, but the one there was a passage in the books that you read upstairs in the laboratory, where there were mentions in sort of like the the margins of the pages that referred to a mushroom that would be able to carry ghoul fever. However, in the books in the laboratory, the notes did make mention of making modifications to the disease, perhaps being able to harness some of its natural latent necromantic power to further his goals, as in uh, the notation would say my goals, my plans actually.
Got ya.
It would run along the lines of perhaps simple change in the formula, a little growing of these mushrooms in the right environment would lead to the right mixture of latent necromantic to infuse into my ritual.
All right.
Yeah.
Great. I don't know a lot about necromancy, so
Robin will hand him the bell and say, "Take a look at this. It didn't get burned by dragon fire."
I'll take a look at the bell, both for physical, like what it is, and also to see if I can identify like any magical properties.
And then Robin's just gonna take 20 pickaxing the wall,
I can also look at the wall and see if I can find a better.
All right.
like a weak spot. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
You can take about an hour trying your pickaxe at the wall if you'd like to, as to take 20.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Actually, while he does
Hey.
that, I'm gonna take an hour to switch my prayer over to cure disease
Just a
Attaboy.
or remove disease.
Before we do an hour, how long does it take for a ghoul to march from the house to Sandpoint? Roughly.
They were already
Days.
mostly to Sandpoint when
Mm.
Korak saw them going by, weren't they? Like they'd
No,
started
no,
already.
you
They're not
guys
on
are
horses.
you guys are several miles away from Sandpoint, and
Okay.
ghouls are particularly quicker than humans, especially on foot. It would take like a good 6 hours on foot to get there.
Okay.
However,
But we are banking then that we can solve them here,
Yeah.
or that they can hold
Mhm.
out.
It has been about 20 minutes since Corvex came in and let you know that the ghouls had left.
Okay.
Because that was
Got it.
after you guys woke up.
Got ya. So, okay, I'm down to spend the hour, if you guys are.
Yeah.
I would like to try and see knowledge engineering if I can help them chisel it out more.
Sure. Go ahead and give me a knowledge engineering and give me a spellcraft if you're trying to figure out the effects of this chime. It's very clearly magical as
Yeah.
it has survived fucking dragon breath.
Nice.
Yes.
Now you know what's going on.
34.
Right.
Attaboy.
You've heard of these kinds of little magical trinkets. This looks like a chime opening, which is a not particularly exhilarating magical item. It does, however, give you the ability to open any lock, essentially, with a simple ringing of the bell.
Yeah.
Robin's eyes go wide.
So you're telling me I've spent my entire life learning how to pick locks, and that thing makes me useless.
So
Yeah.
So what at first had looked like silver, now that you're holding it and inspecting it properly, turns out to be mithril. This chime is made
Ooh.
almost completely out of mithril, and it's shaped like a bell into a tube, and everything seems to be part of the musical instrument. You would know with your natural 20 in spellcraft that all that is required for you to activate this device is to ring the bell as you chant the right activation spell, and as
Okay.
you're sort of investigating the item. As you investigate the item, you do see that on the inside of the bell itself are written the words, "I gently command you, please open," which seem to be the activation words for this chime.
Got ya.
This chime, you would know, would immediately be able to dispel any hold, portal, or arcane lock of caster level 15th or lower. As well as you can point it at an item or gate to be loosened or opened immediately. So you can just point the chime and say, "I gently command you, please open," ring it, and then the chest, door, or anything else will immediately open.
That's awesome. And is it
That's
infinite
fucking dope.
uses? Or
No,
charges?
it has 4 uses left on it.
Okay.
Actually,
Got
no,
ya.
give me
that
one
makes
sec.
a lot more sense.
Hang on. Yeah. I want to double check the amount of uses left in it. Usually these would be brand new, having 10 uses. This one, however, has seen some use. I just want to double check.
I bet our friend Aldous used it to open the box.
Yeah, Aldrin definitely used it to open every locked door on his way to this room. I would imagine.
5 charges left.
Oh.
I was right the first time. It has half
Okay.
of its uses left.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. But like in terms of opening that box, that was probably super locked if it was crazy necromantic, and that would give him a way to get into it.
Yeah.
So you have gained all of this information. Will post the full disclosure of the effects of the chime of opening in the Discord channel in just a bit. But yeah, you now know that. And as you guys take a long time to investigate the walls, find a good spot where the rock seems to be a little bit more fragile, perhaps on a fracture, a change in curvature of the wall. You take a moment to or two to take your several swings, and you go slam and pick, and you quickly realize that this slate wall is a little bit tougher than it should, as you're chipping away about half an inch in the hour that it took you. Like it, about a 3 inch by 3 inch by half an inch deep square in the hour. So it's a very tiny progress.
I don't get tired. So Robin's just
Um,
gonna keep going and not realize it's been an hour.
Also, while they're doing that, can I look at all of the papers that were in the desk to see if anything, like take them from
Sure, if
Dorban?
Dorban hands them over to you.
I will ask Dorban.
All right.
Dorban, can I
Now.
see them, please?
As long as you don't have a breakdown whenever you read whatever you're about to read.
I will not.
All right. Here you
I
go.
say that very unconvincingly.
Yeah.
Right. Amongst the papers, you find first a you see the journal, which seems to be a what can only be described as a personal personal, not journal. What's the word I'm looking for?
Diary.
Diary. Thank you. A personal diary of Aldrin, and it seems to date back several years, starting around 20 years ago. And the entries are not every single day. It seems to be like every couple weeks. Sometimes it goes months without making an entry. And when it does make an entry, it seems to talk about a summary of what has happened, only finding highlights. Do you take your time to read through everything in there, or are you just like sort of skimming it?
I would probably initially kind of skim to see, like, at one point has there been changes to not only maybe the frequency that he's writing, but also the type of writing that's being done. So I'd like check and be like, okay, this is what he's normally like, and then flip through and then see where that change occurs, if there is any.
Definitely. So as you're going through the pages, sort of flipping very quickly, you eventually find a place where his handwriting very quickly changes. Like it goes from one page being this very neat, refined, elongated and curved lettering, handwriting, and it suddenly becomes very stiff, very a little bit shaky, but still sort of like drawing straight lines where a moment ago he hadn't gone through the motions of artistically depicting every single word. Uh, and that page where it sort of does the change, it says, I've done something unforgivable. I don't know what's going on anymore. Don't think I'm in control of my faculties. I fear for the worst. And that is dated from a month ago.
Which
The
was
next,
before we got to Sandpoint, right?
yeah, about a few days before you guys got to Sandpoint. Actually, no, a few weeks before you guys got to
Yeah.
Sandpoint. About a week and a half to 2 weeks before you guys got. The next page is from a week before you arrived at Sandpoint, and it says, I fear I still hear her. She's still crying somewhere. I and sort of there's a clear blotch of ink as it has been sort of the pen was left against the paper for too long and sort of left an imprint. It just says, I've locked the upper floors. No one will go there anymore. Only they can enter now. And then you see the handwriting just becomes completely unhinged. It looks like someone has gone and just slashed at the paper trying to make drawings that look like letters. Precariously, even at that, it looks like someone's hand had been cracked open as they were trying to write this. And you do spot a few droplets of blood on the next page. And this one reads, The hunter, he's still here, must keep going. And the next pages are blank. And they seem to, well, I say blank, they seem to be like covered in ink, but to the point where you can't tell one word from the next. They seem to be written and overwritten by others, and there's no date anymore. And it looks completely unhinged, completely the ravings of a madman. And as you keep going, there's page after page after page, and then it goes from being this sort of inky mess to being crystal clear again, and you see a handwriting that now you recognize, and it says, Soon all will be fixed. Signed, Your Lordship. And that is the last page that is written in the journal.
I'm just gonna stare at that page and just not and kind of like frozen and just kind of seeing your lordship and all will be fixed. Just kind of staring blankly at it, just kind of like not freaking out, but not not freaking out.
Right? Yeah, I mean, you guys can see Solera probably holding the journal, looking a little bit perturbed, perhaps not shaken, but perturbed. Um, Solera, there's still a bunch of papers that seem to be important left to go through, but amongst the other papers, you do spot the ledgers and the black book, as well as a recent letter that still has that sort of silkiness to the wax stamp that had kept it shut.
Um, I'll kind of like snap out of whatever freeze that I had, and I'll look at the letter and then the black notebook afterward.
So you pick up the letter, and I think I can just this. It should work. Yeah, there we go. All right. So there's the original up over it, and then beneath it you see the transcript for it. But as you take the page, you do notice that there's a little bit of a blotch of blood on the paper itself, and it has like completely dried off. And on the bottom right, you see a symbol that you've seen too many times, perhaps. The seven-pointed star that has been carved into each of the victims that you found, strewn about and not converted into ghouls. As well as the same star that you saw in the necklace that you guys gave to the paladins, and the ring that Robin is currently wearing. And as you read through it, you see that the letter, if you'd like to, read for the rest of us what the letter says.
Sure. It says, Aldern, you have served us quite well. The delivery you harvested from the caverns far exceeds what I had hoped for. You may consider your debt to the brothers, capital B, paid in full. Yet I still have need for you, and when you awaken from your death, you will find your mind clear and able to understand the task before more than the state you lie in as I write this. You shall remember the workings of the
Dihedron.
Ritual I trust. You seemed quite lucid at the time, but if you find after your rebirth that you have forgotten, return to the townhouse in Magnemar. My agents shall contact you there soon. No need for you to bother the brothers further. I will provide the list of proper victims for the Sahedron ritual in 2 days' time. Commit that list to memory and then destroy it before you begin your work. The ones I have selected must be marked before they die. Otherwise, they will do my master no good, and the greed in their souls will go to waste. If others get in your way, though, you may do with them as you please, eat them, savage them, or turn them into pawns. It matters not to me. And San Isha?
Sanisha.
Sure.
Yep.
Mistress of the Seven. Yeah, so I read that aloud to everybody.
Yep.
And I get kind of like almost like a smile on my face. And I'm just like, I think this answers a lot of questions.
Sure does.
Mm-hmm.
And I like almost like breathe a sigh of relief.
Yeah, but we don't find that list, right?
No.
I mean, you still have a ledger to go through and a black book.
Yes. Sigus would
Yeah, I wanted to
also
go
be
through the black
reading,
book first.
if it's okay with Saint Lara, whatever you're done reading, Sigus will also be reading through.
Yeah.
So Solera, you go through the little black book and you find what looks like several reminders that have been ciphered, but you can tell that um, it looks like some like money transfers, payments for certain jobs were done. As you see several sort of names or like initials for names and initials for some kind of work seem to have been left in the first two columns and then an amount in the third. Whether that is in one currency or another, you're not certain. However, as you go through the little you flip the pages of the black book, you get to a page that looks to be a little bit crumpled up, a little bit too thick. As you do, you find the shredded up pieces of the letter, and you see that several names have been scrolled out with ink, which seems to be fresher than the ink that was used for writing down the name. And sure enough, you see the name of the resident lumber mill worker that was murdered recently in one of the papers. And as you sort of shove the papers around on your hand, trying to see the rest of these names, you spot both of the both of the Scornetti names, Titus and his wife. You see the name of Devra. Uh, sorry, yeah, no, it's Deverin. Sorry, not Devra.
Yeah.
Deverin, Mayor Deverin, in one of the papers. Another one has Van Vender on it. Another one has the owner of the. I don't know if you would know his name, but probably Robin does. The owner of the hagfish written down, and it looks like there's about 40 names in here, just sprayed out between different pages.
Basically everybody that lives in Sandpoint.
No, about a third of the people, more like a fifth of the people that live in Sandpoint, because Sandpoint does have about 200 people.
Okay.
And it does include, in one of the pages, Maester Grump,
Who made it out alive?
who just barely made it out alive of his form, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll pass that next off to Sigus, as I assume that he also would like to look at it.
Yeah, and Sigas,
And then
you were going through the larger ledger, and that one seems to be a little bit more official. It seems to go over old payments, and it looks to be more so like tax payments for a house in Magnamore, and it seems to detail like payments for security, payment for tenancy of the land, payment for etc. etc. etc.
Got it.
And
It was
likewise,
probably that we had potentially.
so likewise, it does note down the direction of the house because it does say Alabaster District, and it does note down a street and a height, and it does sort of point out what works were done to the house to maintain it, how much was spent on maintenance on the house, and it sort of like is deducting it out of certain taxes. As well as it sort of describes what money was invested into this home, and you do spot that there is a entry for payments to an architect and a carpenter for this house.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
While Sigus is looking at the ledger, I'm gonna ask him, is there anywhere in that ledger that says why, or yeah, why they decided to repair this house? Or is it
No,
just business?
like from what I see, this is like for a house in Magmar, not like this house.
So,
Oh,
so there's expenditure for both one, the house in
Oh,
Magnamar, and
ya.
this one.
Got ya. No, it doesn't. Well, it says that. Well, based on the other letter, I'm assuming it's so that they could harvest stuff like from this cavern. Like that's what your letter said about the deliveries and the payments he's having. So
right.
when
I'm trying to see if maybe what came first. You know what I mean? Like, did this all happen in the house? Like, I'm having a hard time forming the words to ask.
like
So
I
Essentially,
think this
did
house was evil beforehand, and they wanted to export that evil.
so
then
Gotcha.
they
judging from the dates on both the ledger, the journal, the diary, and the black book, it looks like the carpentry work was started about 3 months ago.
Okay.
Around the time where on the ledger there is a about 2 months prior to that, there's a entry for wedding expenditures, and it goes into like full detail of things that were spent in holding a small ceremony for a wedding. Um, so it looks like they were repairing the house shortly after getting married.
Okay.
And there is an entry for purchasing a set of cages about week and a about the same around the same time that in the diary you find the sort of demented notes like a few days afterwards.
Okay, that makes
So sorry,
I
a
think
few days after the last sane entry, so before the insanity began.
I think the wife is upstairs
right.
potentially.
But the construction wasn't solely based on this evil thing. It was already planned once they got married that they would repair it, live there, and then that's when shit happened. Gotcha.
Looks like
So.
it.
Okay. How
Just
how,
to let people know, I probably have to head out in like 10 minutes, though. If that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
Or
think
like 10 or 20.
no. You know what? I think with the revelation of great information, it is a good spot for us to call the session. Unless you guys want,
Sorry.
if you guys wanted to just gather up your belongings and start heading out, we can handle that, and we'll pick up as you guys are leaving the house this week.
All right. And before that, could I now cast remove disease on Sigus, see if I can get rid of it?
It'd be awesome.
Sure.
Oof. Nope.
Nope.
That's a 10.
No. On a
Mhm.
cast level check of 6, no.
And the other thing I
Oh,
wanted
the
to
caster
bring.
level check's finally showing up now.
No.
Oh no, that is my caster level. That's not the check.
Okay, yeah. So the check
I've been
is-
using I have the caster level thing checked, so
Oh, it
rolls
does.
caster
Yeah,
level,
it's
but it
overcome
only does.
SR.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I've been using the overcome SR because it's literally the same thing this
Yeah,
entire
it
time,
is. It
anyways.
is a caster
So.
level check.
Oh yeah.
D4.
Right. So on that note, that is where we're gonna call the session for tonight. We're the last bit that we see on the before we sort of fade out to black and we finish the episode. It's that Dorban sort of focuses his energy on his hand and he puts it on Sigus's shoulder, and Sigus, you feel the energy sort of travel to your stomach, where it sort of blooms and burns, giving you the sensation like something is puncturing your stomach. And as you sort of wince in pain, I think, Dorban, you sort of feel a lashback of negative energy, and you pull your hand back before it sort of reaches into your body. And that is where we're gonna end the session. I hope that everyone enjoyed it.
Yay!
And
Huzzah!
we'll pick back up on Wednesday.
Yep.
Right?
Sounds good.
Good.
Goodbye, stream, I guess. Bye.
Yep.
Bye, Scream.
Bye.